How to fix Manchester United's goal-scoring problems. Manchester United this season have had a lot of ball possession. They've looked better building out from the back. Their build-up structure's good. They now don't get pressed into non-existence from their build-up play and have to go long. But the problem is they are not creating a high enough chance, a good enough chance quality. That's something that they need to fix. When we take a look at the chances United have created over the last 3 games in the Premier League and in Europe, they've taken 61 shots but only scored 3 goals. That is a damning statistic. When you look at the post-shot expected goals as well, their expected goals in that period is 5.8, which is relatively good over 3 games, but their post-shot expected goals is 3.9. So their shooting goals added is poor at minus 1.9, which means they aren't converting the chances they should. We look at Manchester United in the Premier League and Europa League this season, their conversion rate is 10%, which is pretty poor. Just looking into a number of things, obviously the finishing is a problem. Getting the ball into the final third and taking the chances has been a big concern. That was really apparent in the Europa League game against Nicosia, the 1-0 win at home. United had 34 shots, 13 shots on target, but missed 7 big chances, which is something that they need to fix from a tactical but also from a player perspective. United are not good enough putting the ball into the back of the net. And it comes from all over the pitch, which is kind of a bit of a concern. They've got to definitely improve in those areas. And I think there's a few things that United need to look at in a sense of how they can be more clinical in the final third, but also how maybe tactically they need to adjust a few things in the team. So United mainly have been set up in a kind of 4-2-3-1 shape. We've seen Freddie deep in midfield. We've also seen Christian Eriksen deep in midfield. But at times, both players are quite erratic on the ball. The possession in the final third is something United need to improve. They need to be a lot more patient when they get into kind of the red zone, into zone 14. Too many times we see United shoot from range, shoot from bad angles, shoot when there's players in front of them that's going to block the shots, which I think is a real concern. When we're looking at the quality of chance created, we take a look at Manchester United's shot map this season. United had 183 shots on goal. But if you have a look at the expected goal numbers of good quality, so a chance that's 0.4 or above expected goals, of the 183 shots, only 8 have got an XG of more than 0.4. By comparison, when you're looking at Manchester City over the Champions League and the Premier League this season, obviously they've had more shots than United, 259, but the quality of shot that they're creating, if we go back to Manchester United, the XG of over 0.4. They've had 24 of those shots. United have just had 8. You can see where City are scoring their goals. So many of Haaland's goals are basically tap-ins, and that's creating that situation from underlaps, from third-man runs, from dribbling at the opponent and getting to the byline and cutting the ball back. And those things are something that United need to do in the final third. They need a little bit more patience in the final third. When they get to that zone, they need to be a little bit better. I think especially from the right-hand side, we see Antony too frequently, getting on the ball and just looking to kind of, cut in and shoot versus, dribble, attack the fullback, then cut the ball back on that left foot into a better area. Again, where United need to create more is in the 6-yard box. So both sides with, the left winger, Rashford, let's say, getting down the byline and cutting the ball back. That's something that your City do really well that United aren't. There's only other ways, it's not just the dribbling that United could utilise, it's more underlaps. I think that's one of the big things that I'd say about Antony's game. He gets criticised from shooting a lot, but the big thing is he's quite alone a lot of the time, and the balance of the shape isn't quite right. At times, Bruno drifts to left, and it leaves this inside channel completely open. And I think Diogo Dalot needs to make that his channel his own in a sense and make more underlapping moves. We know Antony likes to receive in those wide areas. Dalot making that underlap and hitting the byline could be a really good area for Manchester United to create a better quality of chance, because that's what they need to do. They're getting the ball, but having that composure and the ability to recycle possession could be really important. Not only that, getting Antony just chopping in and crossing to the back post and looking to kind of find either Cristiano Ronaldo, Anthony Martial on the back post could be a big way of United improving going forward. Their attack just isn't quite good enough at the moment. And I think underlaps, not only on the right-hand side, but on the left-hand side, with Luke Shaw, with Bruno Fernandes, would really help United out. Again, the third-man run, that ability to play a passing move in a sense of, Eriksen to Rashford, and then the third man run come from Shaw, or Eriksen to Rashford and the third man run come from Bruno Fernandes in behind the defence. It needs to be a lot quicker when United are doing that, because it will create a better quality of chance. When we're looking at United statistics, and another issue at the moment, too many of their shots are coming from outside the box. 39.4% of Manchester United shots in the Premier League have come from outside the box. Only Wolves, Southampton and Leicester City have a higher percentage of their shots coming from outside the penalty area. Patience is massive. Too many times I think we've seen recently the likes of Fred shooting from bad areas, Bruno shooting from bad areas outside the box, and not working the goalkeeper, which is a big concern. And when you look at the stats, 4 out of the 10 shots United are having are coming from outside the box, not good enough. And that also comes down to players playing the pass versus taking the shot. I think that's another thing United need to look for. When Cristiano Ronaldo's playing, I think that's another concern. Too frequently, players are looking for him in the penalty area. They potentially should be using Ronaldo as a bit of a decoy at the moment, looking for a simpler pass to then play through to Ronaldo, versus playing that kind of Hollywood ball to the back stick. Combining or, again, utilising those third-man runs needs to be a lot better in those kind of areas in and around the box. One of the biggest concerns, obviously, for United, and a simple way to how to fix their goal-scoring problems is having a fit Anthony Martial within the side. United's goals per game shoots up with Martial in the team. The wins shoots up as well. And we know about the link up between Martial, Rashford and Bruno Fernandes is absolutely fantastic in the Premier League. How they move around, it's very good and it's highly flexible. And I feel like we have more third man runs and more movement off the ball when those three are in the same sort of side. Attacking teams. And Martial's obviously had his injury problems, and that's a concern for Manchester United. He's not played enough this season, but when he has played, he has looked very decent. United's in terms of their conversion rate, in terms of their ability to put the ball in the back of net, it's just massively improved. Martial has been directly involved in 30% of United's goals in the Premier League this season, and he's only played a handful of minutes. So that is a big concern. Finally, United, if this injury record stays the same with Manchester United, they need to massively, look to the market to fix this problem. If we get to the World Cup break and United are still having this problem putting the ball in the back of net, the signing a centre forward becomes an absolute priority in January. There are centre forwards on the market that United could look to. They could have potentially moved and got a centre forward last January, when they should have done, when Ralf Rangnick recommended a number of players. Vlahovic is the one. Juve are struggling hard this season, and Vlahovic is really struggling to get chances, but when he's got the chances, he's usually taking them. Very good hold-up play, perfect striker for Erik Ten Hag. Could be something to look out for. Will cost a lot of money, would be the premium option for Manchester United. But at 22 years old, this kid is going to be one of the best in Europe. City have got Haaland. Liverpool have got Darwin Núñez or Mohamed Salah as their number 9. United need to, act. Basically, if Martial can't stay fit, they need to act in January. He is the premium option for them. We're looking at the Premier League option. Ivan Toney would be a really good Premier League option in terms of the Premier League this season. Only Harry Kane's been directly involved in more goals than Ivan Toney, 8 goals and 2 assists. Was absolutely superb against Brighton. Lovely flick for his first goal. Scored a penalty for the second, 20 and 20 for his penalties. But I think his hold-up play as well would suit Erik Ten Hag's Manchester United, and would be, mid-priced, I'd say. You're not going to get him for cheap, but he isn't going to cost you an arm and a leg. You think that he'd probably force to move through as well. And finally, the one that would probably make the most sense for Manchester United that's not going to cost, the bank, would be Jonathan David at Lille. I can't tell you how many times I spoke about this guy. Only Erling Haaland scored more goals in Europe's top 5 leagues this season. 9 goals in 11 games. He is the perfect player to make those kind of runs in the penalty area for the tap-ins. He's a brilliant support player, really good support player at getting into the right place at the right time. And this season, been absolutely fantastic. Grabbed the brace in the last game. Missed 3 big chances, though. That's something that he's got to improve on, taking those opportunities, but will consistently get into those areas. Could play second striker with Martial ahead of him, putting Bruno deeper. I want to see Bruno Fernandes in central midfield in this team to see if he can be more responsible on the ball, but also allow United to get another attacker in. United looked really good with Anthony Martial at 10 and Ronaldo at 9 when they played against Nicosia together. So there's a number of players that would work, but I think Jonathan David is the easiest option to get. My priority would be Vlahovic number 1, Jonathan David 2, and then Ivan Toney number 3. But again, I think all 3 would help Manchester United, or even maybe looking at someone like João Felix. Again, this would be an absolute pipe dream of mine, but reports that he wants out of Atletico Madrid. Not had the greatest season, only 3 assists in 9 games. He's someone that should be playing in a possession-based team. He is one of the best footballers I've seen live. Devastating, but United could go out there into the market and pick him up. Thanks for watching, guys. What do you think Manchester United's goal-scoring issues are? Get in the comments below. Subscribe if you do. Check out SofaScore, and we'll see you very, very soon. Till next time.